Thank you for that. Still like this music. Dempsey and Makepeace. You know him and her, right? After they'd been in the show together, they got married. And they're still together. It's a beautiful story. Now, Michael Brandon, one half of Dempsey and Makepeace, of course, coming to town soon. Next Wednesday it starts. The show is called A View from a Bridge. And it actually makes its premiere in Nottingham. I spoke to Michael the other day. Firstly, he gave me a brief summary what the show is actually about.
Well, it takes place in Red Hook, Brooklyn, which is right across from Manhattan, the other side of the Brooklyn Bridge. And that's kind of the society between Manhattan, where it's, you know, kind of educated, and the rough, raw immigrant mentality that has come to Red Hook, where this is where all the ships come in. This is where all the longshoremen live. And, you know, and they're mostly Italian neighborhood under the bridge there. And, you know, it's on the waterfront, I guess, would be sort of a close picture of how that life looked. It was hard and even, and people survived. And this guy, Alfieri, got an education, and he became a lawyer. But he didn't leave. He didn't go across the bridge. He stayed to work there. His clients, mostly longshoremen, their wives, fathers, and grandfathers, you know, family squabbles, the petty troubles of the poor. And it's about this one particular longshoreman, Eddie Carbone, who has a niece who's coming of age. She's 17, and he has feelings that he doesn't understand. And there's something almost perversely pure, you see, that kind of underlines this relationship. And then these other two immigrants who are cousins of of Eddie's wife, who come to stay illegally. They're illegal immigrants, and they're staying there trying to get a better life, trying to make some money to send back to the old country. And there's a lot of turmoil in the family, and there's a lot of romance, and it's all trying to be sorted out and understood through Alfieri's words.
Just thinking as well, because this gives you the chance to use your... And I was just listening to you there, thinking you obviously haven't lost your accent.
What accent?
Your Swansea accent. you haven't lost your accent after all this time.
My Scottish.
Hey, that's mate, that. But that must be nice for you in some ways. I mean, it hasn't eroded though, your accent, has it?
Well, it was in a box. I kept it in the basement. But you know, you take the boy out of Brooklyn, but you can't take Brooklyn out of the boy. So what it is I had to go back. And when I go back to America or whatever, and people think I'm English, my wife falls about, you know. But a lot of the words have changed, and the hard New York has gone. I mean, gone. You see, I say gone, I say water, but not in Brooklyn. You say water, gone, you know, fada, mudda, you know. It's like you get to those kind of hard D's and things like that, where it comes to like a TH. And so I had to go back into that box and bring it up, and I still fight with it now because I have the transatlantic kind of conflict with the old Brooklyn. But I have to work to really learn to speak badly again.
But when you speak to people, say, back in the US, do they say to you, oh, your accent's changed, you're becoming British, etc.?
Well, if it comes out in a phrase, you know, like if we're going to a restaurant, and I said, did you book? And they look at me, what? You know, I said, what? They said, did you book? What does that mean? I said, to make reservations. Oh, well, why don't you say that? You know, you know, it's like there are things, you know, the words come out occasionally, but it's just better to speak better. You know what I mean? It's like water and dog, and you know, you put the right round syllables in there, you know, which I prefer, you know, and it's after living here for so many years, you know, and I'm British now, so, you know, seems only right.
Been bound to happen. You mentioned about Dempsey and Makepeace, fans coming along to see the show. You mentioned as well, Glynis, and we should just mention as well that she
is opening tonight in the West End at the Aldwych Theatre, and that's where she's been. The show started, you know, rehearsing in London, and it's opening in London.
Oh, okay.
And it's going to be a big night tonight.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the story there. And you know, the other thing is the Dempsey Makepeace fans. They come from all over the world, and they've always gone to every show that I do or Glynis does, whatever we do together. They love that one.
Understood. Yes. Yeah.
So, you know, there's a loyal group around the world who follow us, and, you know, they're twittering and doing all that stuff, and they meet up, and they're all friends now and whatever. And, you know, it's great to have that support for any show that you open or move or go into a new theater, and, you know, you've got, you know, part of them on your side.
So she's in London, but you're going to be all over the place.
I'll be all over the place, but I come back.
That's not deliberate, though, right?
Hmm?
That's not deliberate, though.
Well, listen.
And she sent you out?
The week before opening week, it could be, you know, because, you know, it's tough, you know what I mean? Opening night is something that brings up all the stuff, you know, and I'm not going to be sexist. I'm sure it happens to actors as well. I'm a little more calm about it. I guess maybe I've done it a bit longer, but, you know, it's a hard time because you're trying to get it right. You're still working it. You know, it's going to happen. You want it to be in that second. You know, you've got one shot and you want to make it right.
What a great voice. Michael Brand. Well, just cause we have a Hollywood star right now. And this theme tune, by the way, one of the best ever. Dempsey and Makepeace, one half of whom is Michael Brandon, appearing next week in a show you can see at the Theatre Royal. By the way, it doesn't just rock up, there's all kinds of rehearsals going on.
We are rehearsing in London, and then we get to Nottingham, and we're in the theatre the day before, and do the tech, the lighting, you know, adjustments, the wardrobe finals and stuff like that. And the next day, we're live. We're in front of that audience. And it's exciting. The usual rehearsal can be anything from 2 to 4 weeks. We have 4 weeks, and then that's because it's kind of like American Shakespeare. Arthur Miller is probably some of the most beautiful words, the most great words ever written. And it's just a joy to be able to say them. So with that, I think giving us 4 weeks because we've got to get it together, also because we're not in the theater. You see, I guess if you, most normal shows, you'd be in the theater for kind of a week to then do everything you have to do. But since we only have a day, that's why we're rehearsing a little bit longer here. You got to have the sound right. You got to have the lighting right. You got to have the stage, the set right, the wardrobe right. There's so many people have, you know, it's like it's not one person. You know, the director's the most important. He's the captain of the ship. But, you know, there's a lot that makes a production really work. You know, I mean, listen, we've all been in shows where things break down. You know, I mean, in Jerry Springer, the opera, all of a sudden I looked at the conductor and he's giving me the wink, you know, like the, what do you call it, the electric keyboard had frozen. So nobody else in that show spoke. They all sang. It was opera. So as Jerry, I'm the only one who talks. So I talked to the audience for 9 minutes before they got that thing working. I was like my own stand-up.
Right. How did that feel, though? Was that the longest 9 minutes of your life? Or?
Well, we kept arguing because I wanted to keep it in. And there were people who thought that was the best of the show.
When is your one-man show going to be on, by the way?
Well, actually, I mean, that I'm thinking about it. I've been working on a book, and I think the way to do it is to connect some of the most exciting, scary, you know, romantic moments of my career to put together, and linking them is what I'm working on now, to put them together and maybe go to Edinburgh somewhere, you know, and do it and give it a go.
Great. You need to do that seriously, because that would be utterly fantastic.
I think that's my next jump. I know. I think that would be really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll watch this space for that. I mean, some people say, because I guess in some ways it's the same in radio, that people say, oh, it's the bits where something goes wrong that people really enjoy, and I suppose that it's part of your job and the rest of the cast as well to either smooth over those little glitches or you make something of them, depending on what they are, I suppose.
Well, you know, every actor on stage is always thinking, oh, I hope I don't forget my lines. But the point is, if some other actor forgets his lines, it's the same situation. And you've got to then bring it forth. Somebody has to cover or, you know, somehow jolt it back and keep the train and the scene going on, you know? It has to work that way. You never know. That's the thing. That's why live theater is so exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is that the way you look at it? It's exciting rather than petrifying?
When you go up, you forget a line, it seems like the world has stopped.
Yep.
It feels like an hour since anybody's spoken, and it's really a millisecond, you know? And then all of a sudden you jolt back into action, you know, clear, you know, and you got something going on. I mean, where's the famous story is where I forget whether it was Judi Dench or something, and the thing went wrong, and all of a sudden the phone started ringing on stage. It was the wrong cue. And she picked it up, and she went to the other actor, "It's for you."
See, again, that's the part of the beauty of what you do, though, because no two nights are ever going to be identical, I suppose.
No, but that's the good part of theater. You know, it's like in rehearsal today, Johnny Guy Lewis, and we worked out the scene. It went really good today. He said, "Hey, that was really good." I said, "Yeah, we'll do it different tomorrow." You know, I mean, whatever's happening, kind of like I like to keep it alive. You got to stay. The words are the same, but you know, the feeling sometimes, the emotion, the way that scene worked, it's always different. You know, because if you're trying to get last night's laugh, you know, that's a dangerous spot to be in.
You're in a different zone.
Yeah. You got to go with it, and you got to let it go. Once you know, I was in Singing in the Rain, and I put in a dance, and the director said, "Can you dance?" I said, "Not a step." He said, "Well, let's see how it works in previews." I got an ovation every night. My really bad dance, and one night I didn't get it, and I came off the side, and Adam Cooper, who was playing Gene Kelly, I guess, in the in the play, and he's from the Royal Ballet, and I said, "I didn't get a laugh. I didn't get an ovation." He said, "You actually danced." I said, "What?" He said, "Your feet went right tonight. Now they just think you're a bad dancer."
Getting too good.
So, you see, I had to get back to,
exactly.
So that's part of it. But it's all, you got to move on to the next one. And, people love that. I think the audience enjoys. They don't always know when it's wrong. But, if something does go wrong and the actor triumphs, they love it. The old Dempsey and Makepeace fans, they're rushing up there, from all over the world to be there for that. And so it's going to be an exciting time in Nottingham, and I'm really looking forward to it.